Hello everyone and welcome to ZP Productions. Today I will take a look at the Cayin Ru7. This is a new set. Now I only tore open the plastic, but I have yet to actually look inside the box. We'll do an unboxing and then an initial impression of this particular dongle here. Now I do purchase dongles. As you can see here, this is the Questyle M15. I have yet to do an official review of this, but you know, it's a really beautiful dongle here. And then also I have the very simple and traditional Apple dongle. I mean, who doesn't, right? So I do use dongles. It's just a case where, you know, I tend to review some other equipment. I'm more into headphones, but these days, you know, after testing a lot of them, I believe that actually dongles with sufficient power can power my headphones pretty well. So I'm very excited to actually try this Ru7 because official stats show that, you know, it can go up to 400 milliwatts. Now previously when I tried this dongle, what happened is that I believe I connected the iPhone and the output is not good. The iPhone does limit the amount of power that the dongle takes. So now I will actually try out using my M17 today as my DAC, and then I connect my Ru7 to the DAP itself, and then take a listen to how it sounds like. Now for the headphones, I'll be testing later. I will try a variety. Now on my table here, there is of course a DCA Stealth, you know, is with me now. And then there is some other headphones from ZMF. I also try with the most sensitive earphones I have. This is the EA1000, very sensitive earphones. More sensitive than the Truth-Ear Zero Red, significantly. And then I will do some comparison, of course, with the M15. Now, without wasting time, let's take a look at what's inside the box. Okay, when you open a box, this is a very nice way of presenting just the dongle itself. Let's first take a look at the dongle. The dongle, as you can see here, is about the same size as the M15. Maybe slightly longer, but definitely very similar in size. And the thickness-wise, also quite similar. You see, there's not much difference to it. So most of the dongles these days are trying to conform to a certain size, and this is pretty much it. The nice part of the Ru7 is that there's a volume control and there's a mode dial, mode button here, and you know, the Questyle doesn't have much, only got a high-low here, and that's all. But this is just the dongle. Let's look at what's inside the box. Never be the same again, indeed. So I think the nice part is that they gave quite a bit of things. First, I think they gave an adapter for USB-A to USB-C. So this, you know, settles all the older stuff and also settles out the streamers that can just plug in USB-A and therefore get a USB out into a dongle, which is pretty cool. They actually gave a case. So the Questyle, they didn't give a case. You buy the case separately, it costs money. So this one gives a case. So let me take the case out. These are some magnets. So the case have some. Oh, okay. So you actually can stick to some things that you have, and then, you know, put this here. I mean, this is a damn good idea because, I mean, this is a 1-bit resistor DAC, so it is very unique, and you can run it on Lineout from what I remember. So with that considered, maybe, you know, you will stick it in some of your M, and then your M becomes an M DAC. Pretty cool. I mean, it's a pretty good idea. I shall not take out a cable because that's a cable that I kind of have to. This is just a USB cable itself. So that's about it inside the case. So this is the dongle itself, the Ru7, quite a fingerprint magnet. So let me put in the case. I mean, my dongle, which is my Questyle, has been dinged a few times. You can see a bit of ding here and there. No case, man. I just use it until it's expired. I mean, that's the expectation I have with dongles these days. Use until it expire. Oh, it's quite tight. Very tight. I don't know whether am I weak or what. Okay, I got it in the case now. So this is the Ru7 within the case itself. And if you compare the size, it's now just slightly thicker. The Questyle is still, the Questyle whiteness is about the same still. So thickness, yeah, slightly more. Not much difference really. I mean, at least you don't ding the, I mean, you'll still ding it if you drop it. I mean, this part will still ding, but at least not as bad as my M15 here. Okay, now with that out of the way, let's connect it. Now with the dongle here, I will connect up with the USB and let's take a look at what's inside this dongle in terms of functions. I know that this dongle actually has a few functions inside and I want to showcase it to you. Now for the cable, I'll be using something long. This is actually my camera cable. You see Canon here. This is my camera cable and this is, well, pretty long. So let's connect it. So let's take a look at what's inside this dongle in terms of functionality. Now there is the 3 buttons on top, volume and mode. Now the mode in default state just ons and off the screen, you can see here, right? So to change the functions of this dongle, you must press and hold. On the screen first, press and hold. And then you can choose various options. First, you can choose the gain, low and high. You can then choose also the DSD style, 64, 128, 256. Why do you have this option? Because this is a 1-bit DAC. You have to convert it to DSD first before you can actually use it. So they actually built into this dongle itself to function. And then lastly, you can actually change the output itself. Whether is it a standard headphone output PO or if you want to change to Lineout, you have to plug in something first. Let me show you. So actually if you want to change thing, you can't do it. But once you plug in a cable, you can actually change to Lineout as such. Now if you pull the device out, it will change back to headphone out. So that's a safety measure. You can see what mode are you. Is it PO or LO here? Okay, and that's really about it. So without wasting time, let's take a listen to this particular M here and then compare to the Cayin I have here. Now for this first test, let me see what mode am I. I'm on high gain, right? And let's take a listen using a very sensitive IEM to see whether there's any hiss. This is the EA1000. Now my EA1000s are single-ended, so in the single-ended port it goes. Single-ended here. Okay, let me lower the volume first. So actually at 30 something volume just now you saw, it's a pretty good 33 volume here is really loud enough for me. I don't really need more than 33 for the purpose of the EA1000 itself. Sound wise, it sounds pretty good. Initial sound impression is a bit warm and there are quite a bit of details in this particular M deck here that I have, this dongle. So that is using the EA1000. Now let's try powering a headphone with it. Put my EA1000 down. So let's try using the DCA Stealth. For the DCA Stealth, this will be a balance connector. So into the balance port it goes. Let's play. So it actually has a jump. So at 50 volume, the volume cuts off for a short period of time before it switches. I believe there's 3 bangs here. The second bang is at 80, and then the volume just cuts for a while before it jumps to a higher volume. So yeah, 82 or 83. I think it's 82 or 83 was the volume required to drive the DCA Stealth to good enough volume for me to, I would say, enjoy it. Now let me try driving it all the way to 100 and see what happens. It works pretty well. There's actually no cut off or any limitation in terms of power, at least all the way to 100 with the DCA Stealth. Now Ibarra is more of I would say as modern pop song, so dynamic range is quite limited, maybe plus minus 6 to 10 pretty much. It doesn't get more dynamic than that. So maybe let's listen to something with a bit more dynamics, and that is the Witch from Mercury. Yeah. So in this part of the song for Wish of Mercury, there's this very nice, like, you know, humming from the main character itself of this song. It is really nice and smooth, while slight touch of warmth and, I don't know, very romantic sounding with this particular M deck here. And that's using, of course, the DCA Stealth. Now, the DCA Stealth is not a very easy to drive headphone, but, you know, so far I heard with the Wish of Mercury, it sounds pretty good. Let me hear a little bit more at the back. Now, there's this slight touch of difference in the way the trumpet sounds. Just feels a touch different. I just do not know whether is it slightly warmer sounding of a version of trumpet, or is it slightly off. But you know what? The only way to know is to change the device. So this is the Questyle M15. The Questyle doesn't have a volume control. You have to control the volume using the player itself. So let me try this. Now the M15 sounds a bit more powerful than the Cayin Ru7. It also sounds slightly smaller. The Ru7 sounds a bit bigger, like just a touch bigger. And a touch smoother too. So let's hear the ending again. The ending has some drum beats, so I just want to hear the difference in the impact itself. Well, actually, the Cayin has more bass. Just a touch more bass, in fact, not the Questyle here. But then again, maybe because I didn't volume match this perfectly, I did find that the M15 bass is a bit cleaner. It is more precise, while this one's a touch more rounded in the bass itself. But you know, that is the impression I have on the Wish of Mercury. So let's switch back to the Cayin and let's listen to one last song for this initial impression itself. Now for the last song, let's see. Let's go for something with about a lot more air. Let's hear Suzume. Okay, that's the first play. So Suzume initial one is already this lady singing behind, and she's like singing a very soft and smooth, like her voice is really airy and big here. So this is a good way to test soundstage. Now the M15 definitely sounds more powerful. So like what I said just now, the M15 sounds more powerful than the Ru7. The Ru7 sounds a bit more smooth. So let's compare one last time, and maybe this time let me try to visualize the soundstage a little bit. Okay, I visualized the soundstage once. Let's see which is the bigger soundstage guy. Okay, so one thing for sure, I think the Cayin definitely have a bigger soundstage, like a little bit bigger, maybe like say 5% bigger kind. It's like just a slight increase. If you were to just measure just now, I just imagining, you know, my two hands together. So if this was the Questyle and then the Cayin is just like that, it's just a bit bigger. It's not like a whole lot of difference between them. Yeah, so this is actually my initial impression, of course, of the dongle in terms of the amplification power. Now, this definitely drives the DCA Stealth, no issues, and it sounds really good. And then this guy here, well, also works really well. And if you compare the quality, it's pretty good. Now, there is one thing I want to try. One last thing I try is that using it as a Lineout, and then how does it sound like? So for this last test here, I will just, you know, use my Soranagi, which I'm going to review really soon. And then for the cables wise, I will use a good cable, the one that I recently purchased that has proper groundings. Let me search for it. This is one. And then the input, I'll try again, Cayin here, and then I'll plug in here. So let me face this down like this. Like this, I'll plug in here, and then I'll switch to Lineout mode. Okay, and then let me turn this amp on, let's listen to this, and then I will compare once again with the M15 here, and then let's hear the difference in the Lineout mode itself. I'll be using the DCA Stealth again. There's a lot more power to the sound now. But you know what? Let me compare. Maybe it's just my hallucination. So normally you're not meant to do this, because if it's not a proper pre-out or line out, it may cause some issues, but I've done this many times with this Questyle and it's perfectly fine. So let's keep it to that and let's try it out. Okay, I just noticed something. I just want to try one more time with the Cayin, making sure. Interesting. Just try one more time. So now the biggest difference between Lineout mode when you are using an external power amp, like this case, is that the Cayin now no longer has that slightly less powerful sound. In fact, now it becomes powerful, and not only that, it becomes thicker. So now the mids feel thicker on the Cayin than the M15 itself once you do the Lineout into an amp. So it's probably the amplification stage that is actually causing some difference in sound here. Soundstage wise, the Cayin still feels slightly bigger and smoother, but the M15 has this clarity, a very different type. I don't know how to express. It's powerful and has clarity. The Cayin just feels thicker, you know, it's just a difference in presentation. Now, the exact difference, I think I need to spend a lot more time to listen, but I think this is enough for the initial impression of the Cayin Ru7 here. I hope that you actually, you know, learn something from this short little impression video here. I mean, this is really cool. I mean, a 1-bit resistor deck. I have not went too deep into, you know, all the other functions of it, but you know, initial impression seems to be different and something worth considering. Definitely, it is really different. And with that, I thank you for your time and I'll see you again. Bye bye.